Here we are out in nature. Today I'm going to pick some stinging nettles. I just went out yesterday to see if they were already here, and they are. So I decided to come back today with my camera and my gloves and my plastic bag to collect them in, and then do a little video and show you how I do that. And then after I've picked them, I will go back and we will meet again in my kitchen, and then I will make a nettle soup, which is really good. It's very green. It's actually quite sweet because I put sweet potatoes in it also, onion, garlic, sweet potatoes, and a lot of nettles. So here we go. Let me just show you what is here. Here are the nettles. You can see there's plenty of them, but there's not as many as last year, so I may not get as much as I usually do. This is the same spot I go every year. So what I do is I pick the top 5 or 7 leaves, which will probably be right around here. You can see it's really the top that we want. And after a winter, to make anything with nettles is amazing because it's such a boost of nutrients and minerals after a winter where we may have been lacking that. So I go here every year and it is magical. It really is. So what I do, I have my gloves here, some thick kitchen gloves, and my cutters. I may not need the cutters. I can usually use my fingers and just snap it off. But do not go out and pick nettles without thick gloves because they are stinging, and they will. And the way you recognize them also is that you see these little, I don't know if you can see it here, there's like these little hairs along the stem, and those are the ones that are burning. I just noticed that I touched one. That's what stings along with the leaves, so we don't want to do that. So let me grab one of my gloves. It's hard with one hand. So basically I just snap him right here. Oh, I can't do that, so I need to use the cutters. Quite prepared for this, I guess. Here it is, and I just cut them right there. And then I will put them in my bag. And here's another one. And what I usually do, I do thank the nettles for giving up the top of their body, I would say, so that there is also a sense of gratitude of what the earth gives us and how it's being received with gratitude. So I'll just cut these few ones so you can see it, and then we will meet again in my. And here we are. I got almost a big bag full of delicious stinging nettles. And before I go home, I want to just remind you that many times when there are nettles, there might also be poison oak. So when you go out and in the forest for this purpose, make sure you have long sleeved arms and legs, and of course your gloves, and then you'll have a good time. When I go home, and I'm gonna rinse these, and I keep wearing my gloves while they're still fresh like this. Once they have been either cooked or blended or dried, then the sting is not there anymore. So I'll see you in my kitchen. So here we are back in the kitchen, and I got a really nice amount of nettles, pretty much a full bag. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rinse them, and I want to just let you know that nettles in the early stages, when you rinse them and bring them inside, there's a distinct smell to it. it has a little bit of a cat pee smell, but it is not. And it disappears. Once you rinse them, it's going to be fine. So it's best to work with the gloves still. If you touch them, I'm just going to pull out one and let you know what you can, oh, there's more than 7 here, I think, but that's okay. So what you can also do with them is just hang them. You put a little twine around it and you just hang them, and then they will dry, and then you will get nettle tea, dried nettles for tea. Very, very good for you also. There's a lot of ways you can play with nettles. I also make nettle pesto every year. And when I go out next time in the woods, I might show you. But for now, we're gonna make nettle soup, and I'll just show you how much there actually is here. It's a lot. Like a full sink full of nettles. So what I'm gonna do is rinse them and let them just soak for a little bit. And nettle is kind of like spinach. It shrinks down to very little compared to this big pile that I have here. So it's not too much if you like it to be really nettly, the soup. The other things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop up an onion and maybe a whole garlic. I don't know, maybe half of this. I have a lot of garlic still left from my garden last year. And then I use 2 sweet potatoes. You can also use yam. And the reason that I use those is because it sweetens the bitterness of the nettles. And bitter is really good for you, for the liver, but not everybody likes to eat a bitter soup. So this makes a huge difference, and the soup is actually quite sweet, seriously. So I just put all of that in here, and you know, I first saute the onion and the garlic, and then I put the sweet potatoes, I chop them up and let them just simmer a little bit, and then I add some vegetable broth and let it just cook for a little while. And then at the end, I put in all the nettles, and it just shrinks down to much less, and let it just cook for a little bit. And then when it's cooled down a little bit, when it's done, I put it in a blender, and voila, there's your nettle soup. And here it is, nettle soup. Look at that color. Here you go. Enjoy. Well, it turned out that I had a lot more nettle than I thought I had, so I'm also going to make some nettle pesto. And I have all the ingredients here. I'm taking 4 cloves of garlic, juice from 1 lemon, salt, and everything I do is kind of just, I just play around with food, guys. I never really know how much to use, so I kind of work around it. And now I'm gonna put down my glove again because they're still raw and fresh, so I don't want to touch them with my hands. So I'm gonna just stuff it down here. I really picked a lot today, so let's see how this ends up. I may still have too much. And then I'm going to put some olive oil in there. And because I'm vegan, I do not put cheese in it. What I use instead, once this has blended up nicely, I use some of my homemade almond butter, so that makes it a little more creamy. So let's see how that goes. And here we are, nettle pesto. Let's see. So this is what it looks like. Super green, kind of creamy. And I'm gonna try it on one of my kraut crackers that I made the other day. So imagine This is what fairies like to eat. Kraut crackers, dehydrated kraut crackers with nettle pesto. Look at the color. I mean, amazing. How does it get more amazing than this? Let's see. Amazing. Thank you for watching.